This episode of Montcast is brought to you by twitchclub.com/Montcast. Hello there and welcome to Montcast. This episode's spotlight is on a mobile app called Choices. I will be reviewing later in the episode. Before I get started here, I just want to let you know that Montcast is finally gonna go weekly. So no more covering 2-week-old news in the podcast version of the show. You can always get the latest news updated daily on the Twitter feeds over at twitchclub.com/Montcast. But as for the audio podcast, it is actually going to be up to date on March the 16th, which is our next scheduled episode. As of then, I'm going to be releasing episodes every single Friday, so you can look forward to that. This particular episode of Montcast has been shortened. Well, not really shortened. It's not going to be any shorter than the previous episodes, but I have lobbed off more than a few stories that I would normally cover in the podcast just to keep the length of this episode in check. So if you want more stories from the last 2 weeks, you can go and check out the Twitch Club Twitter feed and the Montcast Esports Twitter feed, both of which you can scroll through in their entirety on twitchclub.com/Montcast. As for what people have been playing these last 2 weeks, pretty much par for the course. Your Counter-Strike Global Offensive, League of Legends, Fortnite, you kind of get the drill. The only game that's really kind of not where it normally is Rainbow Six Siege, and there's a couple of reasons for this. The Rainbow Six Siege Invitational just happened, and whenever there's a major tournament in any game, it usually leads to an influx of players playing that game. And Rainbow Six Siege also has their new Outbreak content out, so there was new excuses for old players to get back into the game as well. And people who play on a regular basis, they had new content to enjoy. So that's that. For your new game this week, I've decided not to go with a PC game. I am going to throw the spotlight on a Nintendo Switch game that you've probably heard of before if you're at all interested in a video game, news, and esports podcast. You've probably heard of the Payday series, and Payday 2 is now on the Nintendo Switch. That crime spree game that I think most people have heard of. I could be way off here, but I think most video game fans already kinda know the gist of Payday. And so, just the news that Payday 2 is now on Switch. Okay, the last 2 weeks of video game news. Let's get going here. You can now mine for Overwatch loot boxes, Hearthstone card packs, and I can talk, I promise, and Riot points in League of Legends. So essentially there's a new, for those of you familiar with cryptocurrency and mining for it, it's basically that, only instead of mining for something that actually has cash value, well, these have cash value, but you're mining directly for Overwatch loot boxes, Hearthstone card packs, and Riot points. I've not actually tried it and don't plan on trying it. You can run it just on an idle computer, and I have no information as to the feasibility or profitability of the methods, but you can find that kind of, you can find more information by going to twitchclub.com/Montcast, and scrolling through the Twitter feeds, you will find the relevant story, I believe in the Twitch Club Twitter feed for this one. There's lots of hype around Warcraft 3 Remaster, and a new patch to the existing Warcraft 3 brings welcome changes. Again, I don't have time to go into details. You can find them if you want them. They're all over the internet and the Twitch Club Twitter feed. But it's exciting that Warcraft 3 is getting a remaster, and it has piqued my interest in playing Warcraft, which is my interest in playing Warcraft has never been piqued, so that is saying something. The League of Legends patch 8.4 is big. Seriously, I could go over the patch notes for you, but it would take an hour, and probably 2 hours, for me to run down the patch notes for you. The big thing is, Zoe has been nerfed into oblivion. Thank God. So, there's that. But, also the next few League of Legends patches, we are anticipating them to be bigger and bring more sweeping changes to the game. It's an exciting time for League of Legends and those people who play it, such as myself. Heroes of the Storm patch 30.3 finally introduces voice comms. Normally I wouldn't cover Heroes of the Storm, but this patch kind of brings in a nice little discussion point. I am firmly in the camp that using external voice communications such as Discord or TeamSpeak is the way to go, especially when playing casually with friends. But do you think that games like Heroes of the Storm and other team-based games like it should utilize in-game voice comms? I think there's too many problems with it, and everybody has Discord anyways, why not just use that? That's my opinion, but let me know your opinion on it, please. The Twitch community guidelines fiasco continued. Oh boy. Alright, I'm gonna share my opinion, as I often do here. So, in the last episode, when I wrote the last episode, the Twitch had released new community guidelines that were about to go into effect, and then after some community pushback, they decided to delay and refine their community guidelines. I honestly don't see the darn point, because Twitch has a relatively toxic community across the board, and they're not going to change that. Whether they think they can or not, it's not going to happen. Twitch has a bigger community, and services like Mixer have a better community. And that's about all there is to it. Mixer their approach is to lay out exactly this is okay and this is okay. This is okay and this is not okay. And be cut and dry, and Twitch has more of a legal leave the gray area all over the place kinda approach. Like, I just don't get why Twitch is bothering. What's the best way for me to word this? I think that it doesn't matter what Twitch does with their community guidelines. They aren't really going to influence what people do. And they can change the guidelines such that they can ban people who are doing things they don't like, but they can ban people who are doing things they don't like on their service. Anyways, it's a private platform and they have the right to do that. Like, I don't get why it's such a big deal, because they've already established themselves as the market leader in population and viewership, and other services out there have better communities, and the people who want to be a part of those better communities have already switched away from Twitch. Elite Dangerous Beyond is now on the live servers, so this is the Beyond is going to roll out in 4 stages over the course of 2018. The first and the 4th stage, this one being the first stage, are bigger, more sweeping changes. Not sweeping, but bigger changes. And so if you're an Elite Dangerous fan, it's an exciting time. There's a lot of new content for Elite Dangerous 2018 out, and it's on the live servers now, not the beta's over with. Beta was done a couple weeks ago, and it's on the live servers for you to play around with. Rocket League Tournaments beta is now on Steam. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. If you are interested in Rocket League tournaments, you can find more information on that. People are showing their colors, and Overwatch League teams are starting to find fan bases much the same way traditional sports teams do. And honestly, it's a lot of fun. Right across Twitch, not just in the Overwatch League channel. Right across Twitch, I'm finding fans of other teams and having meaningful discussions with them about the Overwatch League and why they like this team and why I like this team and who's gonna win the next match. And it's really exciting and fun to partake in these discussions. And it's happening right across Twitch, not just in the Overwatch League channel. Steam users can now ignore curators they don't like. Again, that's pretty self-explanatory. Steam is making more than a couple changes this year so far. And on the whole, I think I like it. And I'm not sure whether they're just doing this to improve Steam or whether they are trying to be proactive about a couple of Steam competitors that are gaining traction, I guess. But realistically, Steam doesn't have any competitors on the scale that Steam exists, and they're not likely going to have meaningful competitors for some time to come. However, there are a couple of services and products and services like Steam that are holding their own in the marketplace, which is interesting. But yeah, Steam's making some updates. This is one of a couple. Steam 250 is a thing. For those of you who haven't heard, a Steam user created this thing called Steam 250, and it's a new way to find games in the labyrinth of content that is the Steam video game library and the Steam store specifically. So yeah, if you just Google Steam 250, if you want to find new games on Steam, you can Google Steam 250 for a new way to try and find some games you might not otherwise find. New grant supports up-and-coming female streamers on Twitch, and you can find more about that in a link that I posted on the Twitch Club Twitter feed. I don't have time to get into too many details, but there's a link there if you want to find it. The Xbox Spring Update brings 1440p support and new mixer features. So that's actually some of these new mixer features are starting to get to a point where it's really, what am I trying to say here? Really easy to get into streaming if all you have is a console. If all you have is the Xbox, then you can stream to Mixer and have a decent stream, I guess. I'm not really good at wording this, but I'm not doing this justice. Look up the new Xbox Mixer features, and you'll get more of a sense of what those features are. So a new indie game I've been seeing more of on Twitch is called Into the Breach. It's from the makers of FTL, that's Subset Games, and you kinda control mechs from the future against an alien race type thing-ish. Each attempt to save the world presents a new randomly generated challenge. Because I can talk today, it's great that I'm recording a podcast episode. Alright, it's a turn-based strategy game. Check it out. On to esports. Tempo Storm stepped up their game. On the Hearthstone front, they signed Amnesiac and Chalky. If you would all follow Hearthstone esports, you'll know those are some significant signings. And they are really, Tempo Storm that is, are really making a concerted push to have one of the strongest Hearthstone rosters out there. And with Blizzard potentially is an important word in this sentence, with Blizzard potentially leaning towards focusing more on team-based Hearthstone events, this could really prove to be a big deal and solidify Tempo Storm as one of the top Hearthstone teams out there. The Overwatch League, this is such old news, oh my goodness. This is why I don't like doing bi-weekly episodes. Overwatch League has new game times for Stage 2. This is like 2-week-old news, unfortunately, by the time you hear this, but yeah. There's a new schedule, both for the regular season, the Stage 2. The regular games are going to happen at different times in the day. I guess they're hoping to pull more of a casual audience with this schedule. And the Stage 2 playoffs are going to be broken up a little more so that they don't have a 12-hour marathon of playoffs on the last day of the stage. Because, obviously, not too many casual fans are going to watch 12 hours Overwatch in one sitting. I'm going to skip the major esports league standings rundown in this episode. Basically, I'm going to bring them back when the episodes are weekly and I can make more relevant comments on the standings. Reis from Brazil takes the Copa America 2018 title. That's Hearthstone for those of you who don't know. Yeah, that's pretty much sums that up. 16 players in a double elimination, and Reis from Brazil was the last man standing. In Overwatch League, XQC, the Canadian player that plays for Dallas Fuel, is back because Stage 2 is here and his suspension is over. He's helping Dallas significantly. He's one of their best players, despite his reputation. And Dallas is off to a better start in Stage 2, but I don't know that it's better enough. Although I will say Dallas does seem like the most improved team, in my opinion, in the Overwatch League from Stage 1 to Stage 2, and XQC has a lot to do with that. Penta won the Rainbow Six Invitational 2018. This was actually an exciting tournament if you got to see any of it. And Rainbow Six Esports is not something that I really followed, but this was a big deal. It pulled in fair viewership, more than I was expecting, I'll say that. And so yeah, Team Penta is the Rainbow Six Invitational 2018 champions, and based on the results of this tournament, I think we will be seeing more Rainbow Six esports in the future with bigger prize pools, probably bigger audiences, and just bigger everything. Jack Attack won the HCT Sydney stop. That's Hearthstone Championship Tour. It was pretty much, I think there was only one player from outside the Sydney region in the Sydney stop, and it was an American that lost both his matches very quickly. And yeah, Jack Attack from Australia won the Sydney stop. of the HCT tournament. The IEM, that's Intel Extreme Masters World Championship Katowice, specifically the CSGO, ends this weekend on Twitch. You can watch it on the ESL CSGO channel. And this has been my jam. I have been watching so much of this tournament. There's so many good teams. It is not a CSGO major, but it is essentially the same scale. The Intel Extreme Masters World Championship Katowice 2018 ends this weekend for CSGO. You can watch it on Twitch on the ESL CSGO channel. This tournament, I've been watching a lot of it. There's been a lot of really good matches. And I'm going to be sad when this tournament's over because it has been so entertaining. This has been what I just throw on my TV when I just need background noise. And it's been a very entertaining tournament from Poland. And it's very exciting. I will come back on March the 16th and recap who won 14 days after the tournament's over, but it'll be the last time that Montcast has episodes 2 weeks apart, so I'm looking forward to that. The NALCS Spring Finals, what a miserable fail. It hasn't happened yet, but this is the North American League Championship Series. Riot announced all the League of Legends international event locations for 2018, and the North American Spring Finals happen in Miami. No problem with that. Nobody has any problem with it happening in Miami, I don't think. But they picked this tiny theater, this tiny 2,000 seat theater, and they let Ticketmaster control all the ticket sales, and Ticketmaster messed up. And so basically nobody can get tickets. No fans or anybody could get tickets. It seems like there was potentially some ticket scalping bots that scooped them all up, but it's just a terrible venue to have such a significant event. You pick a small 2,000 seat theater for I'm done talking about that. You kind of get the gist of my opinion. SKT, the league team from Korea, they add some new players amid their struggles. They now have a 10-man roster. They're starting to show some traction, but they're really not standing out like they normally do. And for 3-time world champions that have been to the World Championship Finals 4 times, just to be a middle-of-the-pack team in Korea is really disappointing for them. And I think they're feeling the pressure for sure. UC Berkeley won the Overwatch Fiesta Bowl 2018. For those of you who didn't know, yes, esports have bowls too. And UC Berkeley won the Overwatch Fiesta Bowl for 2018. Find Your Grind and Rect Global team up for $450,000 in esports scholarships. You can find the link to that with all the details on the Esports Montcast Twitter. Okay, so this is going to be my first time reviewing a mobile app ever in any way, shape, or form. So bear with me. The spotlight for this episode is on Choices, Stories You Play. It's a mobile app available on the Google Play Store and iOS. It's essentially a visual novel type app where you read through a story, and as you go you can make just different decisions, and based on those decisions the story will change and adapt. And I've picked Choices because I've been spending a lot of time enjoying this. It's a great way to kill some time. You can find all relevant links to choices in the different formats it's available and their developer's website in the episode description. Choices is a freemium game, or what I would categorize as the freemium category. In this case, all of the content is available for free. You can download the app and there is no content that you cannot access without spending a dime. So if you want to put the time in, you can actually access every single aspect of every single story in this app, in all the chapters, all the books, everything for free. It'll take you some time, that's for sure, but there is no obligation to pay any money for any content in this app. So how I got into this is, full disclosure, I saw an ad when I was scrolling through my Instagram feed, and I've seen this ad a couple times, and it was relatively interesting, but never interesting enough for me to actually install it and check out the game. I went to a family member's place for the weekend, and I had some time to kill, and I figured, what the heck, I'll give it a shot. And I have poured hours into it. The stories, I've read 6 books so far, and the stories are tremendous. The stories are, it reminds me of Blizzard level integration across their books, because the things that are relevant in, for example, in one of the stories, in one of the books I was reading, there's a reference to a TV show. And then I look through the titles of the other books and I see there's a whole series of books based on that TV show. And then characters cross over from book to book. I can't stress this enough, that the writing is just really great. There's not a lot of typos. Obviously, when you're pumping out so many visual novels, there's going to be a few. But in my experience, I have found less than 1 typo per book. So it's really well put together, easy to follow, anyone can do it. The sound design in this game is fitting, in that it's kind of a generic soundscape. It does change from scene to scene as appropriate. You're not losing a ton if you elect to just listen to regular music and play this app. You're not losing anything there. The visual design is great. It's appropriate and it fits. Like, I'm not a professional reviewer, but I really enjoyed spending my time, my free time, reading these books. The books are such that you can stop at any point and pick up exactly where you left off, and if you log in with Facebook, you can sync your progress across multiple devices if you so choose. To an extent, it does keep a history, but if you are doing one of the series where maybe it's a 4-book series, in the beginning of book 2, in the beginning scene, it might low-key ask you a couple of questions just to kind of, based on how your first book went, to set you on the same path to start book 2. You can also very simply import your answers from book 1 to book 2 if required at the beginning of book 2. This is, like I say, an app that you can spend 1 minute at a time going through, or you can spend half an hour or however long you wish to going through. There is a bit of a limit when it comes to, if you don't want to pay for this game, you can't just sit down in one sitting and read all the books. Doesn't work quite like that unless you are a very slow reader, which Maybe you are. But on average, I find a chapter takes me about 15 minutes to read, depending on the book and the chapter. And you get a key for free every 2 hours, and you can store a maximum of 2 keys at a time. You can buy keys in any amount with real money if you wish to power through a full book or a full series in a short period of time, but that is a decision you need to make on whether that's something you want to spend your money on. The other currency, I guess, in this game is called diamonds. And you get 1 diamond every time you complete a chapter in any book. And throughout each chapter in each book, you will have the option to make, I guess, premium decisions and unlock other scenes in books by spending your diamonds. Maybe one premium decision, for example, might cost you 20 diamonds. And if you are interested in these premium choices and premium scenes, then you will need to reread the books over and over and over again to accumulate enough diamonds to make all these premium choices. But if you so choose, you can pull out your real wallet and spend real money and buy any amount of diamonds you wish. Personally, I think it's worth it to spend a little bit of money on this game, but obviously with any app like this, any app that any app that you're going to spend money on requires a budget, is what I'm trying to get at. And so you should pick your budget, and that's your budget. And really, it is going to force you to pick and choose which premium decisions and premium scenes you want to unlock, unless you are filthy rich and you just want to buy all the diamonds and get the best story you possibly can. In which case, I envy you. As someone who has read a couple of the books that have obviously been written at different stages in the app's development, I can see some significant progress, how they're expanding the decisions you can make, how they're expanding on a lot of different fronts. For example, the outfits from when I started and the first book I read to the book I'm reading now, the outfit selection has expanded dramatically, and that's another thing you can spend diamonds on if you so choose. You can customize your look and your outfit with different things. But like I say, there's multiple outfits in every book that don't cost any diamonds. This is not a game that in any way, shape, or form requires you to spend money, which is really nice, and there needs to be more apps like that. Trust me, there does. So yeah, I guess that's my review. I really enjoy the stories, and I think that's what keeps me coming back, is the stories and the integration with the other stories that I've already read. Keeps me launching this app day after day and reading 2 chapters at a time because I don't feel like spending money on keys. But if I had a couple extra bucks and a day to kill, I would very seriously consider buying some keys and buying some diamonds and just sitting down with this app. It's pretty good on your battery. Where it gets you is that your battery life will be severely diminished just by the fact that your screen is on. I play this on my phone. It would probably be much better played on a tablet, in my opinion. But I play this on my phone, and so the fact that I'm just sitting there for half an hour reading and my screen is on for that entire time is taking its toll on the battery life. But if you're sitting at home and your phone's plugged in anyways, then no harm, no foul there. This app is rated 4.6 stars on both Google Play and iOS stores. It's got the same rating, 4.6 out of 5 on both stores. Again, there's going to be links in the description, and I hope you enjoy it, if you decide to play. With no listener questions, I'm just going to leave you with, please leave a review on iTunes or wherever you get this podcast. It really helps out more than you know. Please. And subscribe so you never miss an episode. And the music in this episode, the background music in this episode, is once again provided by Approaching-Nirvana. Check their link in the episode description. See you on March 16th for the beginning of weekly episodes.